Hi everybody, Martin the Flicking Feathers again today, and I'm going to do just a video here on stacking. I'm not going to tie the full fly or anything, I'm just going to show you how to stack the hair. Much like we did with the spinning video, just how to do the actual technique, and the full fly videos will start after that. Just gives you a bit of time to kind of think about it and maybe even go and practice something that you already know. So I've got my hook and my vise, right? I've got this is a Full Mill streamer stripper, right? It's their stinger hook, Teflon coated, and I've got attached to it some Cohen's legs that I've coloured up and I've got the weed guard on. And to attach these I just used flat wax nylon, and I've dressed the whole hook shank, and this has all been cemented, right? So it's very tough, right? This is fixed in place, it's not going anywhere. And I'm just going to start on with my GSP, right, as usual for the deer hair, and I'm going to come right back to here. Now, to give you an idea of the fly, this is what I'm tying, right? You've maybe seen it in some of the other thumbnails, these sort of wee stacked frogs, or maybe if you've been on my Instagram or something, you'll have seen it hanging out of a bass mouth. It's a really good wee frog pattern, floats well, plenty of hair, right? And I might do the video for that later, but it doesn't really matter how you trim it, right? The stacking process is the same. So obviously, unlike spinning, it's a bit more convoluted. So I'm going to get a big bunch of white for my first tie-in. Get a good thick bunch. Now, you want to have roughly the same amount of hair on top as on the bottom, even though you're going to cut more off of the bottom. But that's because if you have too much hair on top, it'll push forward, right? So you want to sort of have equal quantities as far as possible. Now this is going to be my skirt, right? You'll see on this fly, I've got the thread hanging in front of that bump there. So first things first, I'm just going to get this in my stacker. Right. Take away any of the short broken hairs or whatever, and that's a good bunch. Now this is already the size of what you would maybe spin if you were spinning this bug, right? So that gives you an idea just of the sort of length. I'm going to align the tips roughly to the knees on the frog. Take a couple of turns. I'm just going to let that rock underneath and just press it with my finger and then tighten in, right? Now, sometimes it fights you a wee bit, it doesn't want to go all the way around, but I'll just help it along and then I'll cinch that back in, and I'll take another turn of thread, lock that in, right? And what I've got, you can see, is this, right? It's nice and clean on the top, and there's nothing stopping you. I mean, you could stack another bunch on the underside here if you want. Now, because you're obviously putting the hair on in layers, I can actually put my liquid fusion on top here, right, rather than kind of putting it in front of the spun bunch. And I mean, it's up to you, your colour choice, right? I've got this kind of warm yellow, it's nearly a sunburst I suppose, so I'll maybe stick some of this in. Clean it. Now, quite a lot here, so I'm going to take some of it away because I don't want it to be just one colour. I'm going to add a darker colour in a minute for this. Because remember, I want to roughly balance the amount of hair. So I've got this now. See, it's a smaller bunch. Now again, to make sure I get the length roughly to the knees, try not to bring any hair up. Pull. Put it over now. Got a right good pinch. Pull it right. And then I'll come in with a bit of green so that I've got balance. Now what I'm going to do is just flatten this. I'll let it sit there, the glue can kind of go in a wee bit. When you clean the hair, it stacks dead easy, like the tips stack, I mean. Right, and then the same thing here. Now, I'm not making a spot here, I'm just making it like on top, so I'm pressing down on top of it. Again, line it up, same length. Work the thread up. And you can actually push through with the bobbin tube to help you stop catching anything. Same again, wiggle it through. I don't want to draw hairs up. And then lead the bobbin holder. And then I'm going to pinch it left, like horizontally. I'm going to pinch from the sides. And get that in. Now, that's in, right, that's good, that's fine for me. And I'm now going to just shorten my working thread, kind of come in, make my way through between the clumps and get it in front. And then much the same as I would do with the spinning. Shorten the thread, get that right in there, 2 or 3. And you can see now I've got the white belly comes through. It seems a bit bright, so I'll just darken that slightly to give you a better idea of the sort of colour contrast. And that's going to form my skirt. So same as before, same as spinning and all that. Get that wee push back, see what you can gain. And if you've drawn any hairs up, you can come in and pull them down. Get that half hitch in and just pull backwards, lock that in place. Right, that's not going anywhere. Now, it's just a continuation, right? So when you come into the body of the bug, this is maybe better, white patch, It's just the same. Right, I'll stop the video in a minute when I've done another bunch, another section. So, same as before, comb it, clean it. Really like this metal lice comb that I've got recently. Cut the tips off. Find your spot, come in. And you don't need to be too fussy about getting it like exactly in behind. Made a mess of that. You don't need to be too fussy about having this tied in close. You can come up forward to give yourself a bit more space if you wish, right? Get everything back. Grab your bunch of deer here. Couple of turns, let it rock under, put it tight, and again use your thumb, prevent it from coming on top. Now I'm just seeing I've got a kind of trapped stuff there. I mean, you might, it might be that you don't see it, but you can usually pick it out later anyway. But if you do see it, it's far better to remove it when you get the chance. I'm going to take another wrap, 2, cinch that in, nice and tight. And now I'll come in. A decent bunch of the yellow. Got the tips. There we go. Good blob of liquid fusion. A wee bit more. You don't need to be shy with this. It's just building. I mean, to be honest, the bug would be pretty tough anyway, but this works wonders. So up. Again, use the bobbin holder to lead the thread down. Wiggle it up your side where you can see, and then lead it down. And I'm going to pinch this up and down because I want this to be like a wee border rather than a stripe or a spot. I've got a wee bit of black. It's a small amount. Clean it. Cut it. Again, I'm going to make a space. Can I make a wee flat bit? Come in with this. Wiggle that through. Try to avoid catching any. And then you can just sort of push through with your bobbin holder. Same again. Down the same path. Now, I want the yellow to be wide and flat. I want this to be a wee tight spot, so I'll just pinch it, put Right, that means the yellow kind of wrap around and give me a nice wee border. Now that's enough for that bunch of colour, and it's just the same thing, right? So at this point I'm going to sort of come in with my needle. Oh, so you'll get another turn of thread in here first. Make sure I'm not dragging any. A wee bit of drag on your side, but it's easy fixed. Just get in with the needle. There we go. Right, sometimes you need to mess about with it. And it's just practice, right, until you can do this. Shorten my working thread, come into the front, draw everything back. A couple of tight wraps. Just sort of drag that back, see how we are. That looks no bad at all. Push. You see I moved that quite far back there, right, because I did my stacking work ahead of where I was. So get everything back and get a few of them in. And then the same. Push. Now, I always like to draw that half hitch back right in nice and tight. And that's basically it, right? That's the stacking technique. There's nothing stopping you put a third colour on top or whatever. It's not that hard. The hardest bit I always think is sort of managing the deer hair. You know, getting your thread forward and all that, I think is a bit more difficult than the actual keeping it in position. So you can try that out, you can practice that, and then we'll come back with some full flies. We'll not be starting with the frog, I'll be starting with something that I think is a bit simpler. So, hope that was useful, hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I'll see you for another one. Tight lines guys, bye.